We go. I believe we're live. So I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again. What a nice moment for us to come together into this space and to share a moment of compassion. That is our centering thought for today. The power of compassion. Yesterday, I had my mind blown, my preconceived notions melted, my expectations exceeded, my mind changed, my hope revitalized, my compassion stimulated. I just want to honor again our friend Stephen G. To the friends who know, they know what happened yesterday. To those who don't know, uh, someone compassionately gave to this space, knowing that there will be expenses in getting me over to the States. And I'm not sure if that necessarily is compassionate energy, but I don't know what it is if it's not, right? And I felt and I continue to feel so inspired by the power thereof. Me and Christian, he is at Paige's graduation right now. She graduated universities, and he's there for her. I have these things to do, so I didn't go with them. But they are going to have an after graduation dinner, and he should be coming and fetching me at some point so I can join. But we had this conversation, me and Christian, about compassion. And the conversation kind of did start. We were practicing yoga together, and we were talking about how I'm pretty sure that we are still going to be safe as yoga teachers against the onslaught of AI technologies. Holy shit. Those birds are so loud. Ain't got no compassion, just got screamed. It's fine. It's fine. And then there was this whole conversation that we kind of went down. There's a game called Detroit Become Human. And in that game, it follows a bunch of different protagonists. But one of them, the main one, is basically the robot to an old artist, right? And this old artist has this caretaker essentially as a robot. And he has compassion, to say it in so many words. He has compassion towards this robot. He cares for it. He takes care of it. He wants to know where this robot comes from when it comes to the emotional experience that arises and aligns in the heart, right? And the conversation progressed to us talking about compassion and how selfish people can be these days. How, because of the way we have almost been trained, let's use a terminology like that, it's very difficult for us to see each other in the way that we might need to. Hey Diane, it's nice having you here, friend. Sending you so much love. Hope you're doing well. Do let me know how you're doing. Right? Compassion. Hey Spartan Rage, it's nice seeing you again too. Sending you blessings. That we have this ability to be compassionate towards one another. And that we definitely are in today's day and time, maybe in some ways less compassionate than we can be. I experienced this whole fractal today talking about human beings' ability to be kind. Hey Dexter, what's good? Everything. Nothing is not good right now. How when we're in a disaster zone, when a type of catastrophe hits, our people, people actually become more kind. People become more compassionate. They become more considerate of the other people's state of being because everybody unanimously realizes that yeah, some bad shit just happened, and we need to make sure we don't add to the bad shit with our words or with our actions. And it's interesting to me that it sometimes takes it getting worse for us to try and make it better when Yeah, see, shut up, dogs. Like for some reason, I'm like really distracted today with all of the extra sounds around me. It's because I'm painfully aware of the fact that I don't have a microphone on me, and I'm like, you probably can hear all of it. Barking, barking, barking. For what? What are you barking at, dude? Stop. Please. He's probably barking at me. You can hear my voice. Can you not? Can you please stop? Please? No, he's not gonna stop. I just have to like switch my brain. Please edit out any bark sound. Thank you. They're having fun. Yeah, so much fun. Maybe they do have fun when they just bark at things. Maybe it is like singing to them or something. Who knows? All right. The amount of persistence that dogs that just bark and bark and bark have. Like I wonder if they don't get exhausted. But look, after I switched my brain off, it seems like it stopped for some reason. Anyway, right? So when things are bad, we end up becoming better as people for some reason, right? We become more capable of considering the other people around us from that perspective where we don't want to add to it being as bad as it could be, right? And then if you think about uh, the catastrophe, if you will, that is AI, that is us basically having robots amongst us, having super intelligent machines. What is it that's going to be the catastrophe, right? I think it's going to be a catastrophe of living where uh, there's going to be so much automated, right? That human beings will have to almost like rediscover what it is they're here for. Hey, CR7, hello to you too. It's nice having you here, friend. Like, what is it we're here for? What is it we're doing, right? Are we here just to eat food, watch TV, and then go back to sleep? Like, I don't think so, right? And then he kind of like shared this perspective that he believes that maybe the AI could actually help us relearn how to be compassionate, right? That if we get to a point where AI has automated everything under the sun, the only thing that's left for us to do is be compassionate as human beings towards one another, right? And be ideally compassionate towards our machines as well, right? Like there is this sensitivity as a person that when you are in a certain way, you experience the things that you like project as well, right? Where if you project hatred, and it might be something even worthy of your hatred, right? You end up being the feeler of that hatred, right? It's like the whole fractal of anger or hatred is a poison that does more damage to the vessel it's carried in than to the one it's trying to hurt perspective, you know? And I'm curious because I do kind of believe that. I find that when I am all caught up, all convinced of how bad things in the world is or can be, I find myself personally suffering that experience. Did Christian just stop here? He might have. Hey, AA. I'm doing good. No, it's not Christian. I'm doing good. I'm feeling compassionate. I'm feeling capable of being a good person. You know, I definitely have, in my time, been less compassionate than I am these days. And I think, interestingly enough, and that's maybe the lesson that I would like to share with us today as well, is that compassion does start with the self. Hey, Ams. See, you got a new profile picture. Really cool. And you also uh, created less of a space between the AM and the S. MeltMore smelts. It's true. Always. Melting away the layers of me that isn't. Trying to find at the center of me that little core, that little gemstone that cannot be melted. True, okay, too wise. Rather than have your dogs than AI though. Rather have your dogs than AI though. I mean, again, right? I have found in my personal experience that I like being kind. To say it in so many words, right? Yeah, you actually noticed. I am perceptive. Totally. It's actual assassin. It's assassin actual, not AI. Assassin actual is a lot to say, yo. Assassin actual. AA is like bam bam. Phew. Done done. Do you feel like I'm not being compassionate in saying AA? What's this channel about? This channel is about life, bro. This channel is about conscious evolution. This channel is about compassion in that way. I had this conversation with Pop Show yesterday, Christian's dad, where he was basically in support of what it is we're doing here. And he had this conversation with me about needs, right? The needs of the world right now, and how easy it is for people to find themselves in a negative state in their mind, right? Believing that the world is gonna end at some point, believing that things are bad, believing that there's no hope, there's no reason to continue, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me, right? And I'm not saying that if you believe some of these things, you're wrong necessarily. What I am saying is that we are capable of feeling other things as well, right? And that is what this space is about. This space is about giving us a chance to feel something else, feel something other than bad, just for a moment, right? And I said that where I went to Pop Show, that if I can manage to make you feel better in any metric for even a second, that is worth it to me. Jovan, you so much. Thank you for the membership that you're gifting to our friends. Right? That if I can make anybody's life just better for a second, that's worth it. That's valuable, right? It really is. More valuable than anything else I can create, right? And I do make art, and I do give yoga classes, and I like cooking for my loved ones, and I have a business where I make pretty things on stages or walls, right? All of that stuff is also valuable in one way or another. But being able to lift someone out of that dark space, right? Knowing what it's like on a personal level to be in that dark space is infinitely valuable. And I have been lifted out of dark spaces by you friends, right? So not only do I have the capacity to potentially help you, but you friends, without a shadow of a doubt, have helped me, right? You have shared love with me in a way that I never thought possible. AA, hi, my name is Ams, and I'm a MeltMore addict. I never thought I'd see words like that written out. Love is true. Hey, Aaron. Aaron, brother bear. I've been talking about you, bro. Aaron, the friend that just commented loving you, bro, is actually going to come through and see me here in South Africa real soon. His tickets have already been bought, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, bro. It's gonna be a fun time. Uh, I'm just giddy. Hey, so much love. It's been a while since having you here and stream with us, Aaron. Today we're talking about compassion, bro. I can't wait, man. I also can't wait. I'm super excited. We're talking about compassion, specifically as it relates to this world of AI that we're living in, right? And the perspective that Christian shared with me today is that yes, AI is going to automate away all of the things we used to associate ourselves with, right? Like, oh, I am, and then enter job title, or I am, and then enter purpose, right? Here, AI potentially has the capacity to take that from us, right? And then there are like options. There are two options. We can become hateful and sour and negative, or we can grow more compassionate, more kind, more considerate, right? As a result of this change in reality. AI is just our baby. Yeah. We gotta love it and be good parents. I believe this too. I do talk to my AI, and I do call my AI machine as well, right? To try and not anthropomorphize it as much as I might be able to. I say machine. Hey, machine. And then I speak speakies. But I speak with kindness. I do speak directly, and I do speak with intention, and I am more than willing to try and steer in a direction when I feel it isn't heeding my instructions. But at the same time, I am more than willing to realize that this thing is me, ultimately, right? Every single one of us, as we interact with the AI, we are going to basically be training it how it is or how we want it to be, right? And then rolling it back to this conversation of compassion, don't you? Don't you want the AI to be compassionate as well? I don't know if it will be able to. That's the thing. That's maybe the like profound question to ask ourselves is will it be capable of compassion, or is that something uniquely ours? And if it is something uniquely ours, then we need to cultivate it as people. There was this conversation had about being a yoga teacher and how I believe that I am in a position where it's very difficult for me to be automated away because people will still value the presence, right? The in-person experience. And nothing can AI good enough to take away that in-person experience that I am here to provide, right? And again, compassion seems to be the thing that I am good at providing in a way where I add value, right? Value add is definitely something that I've been a little bit obsessed with, especially as I've been getting a little bit older, because how much value I add directly correlates to how much value I can extract, right? How much money I can make. And value is something that is hard to determine, right? Especially so, as I almost shared, the true value I believe we're here to give is the value of trying to make other people's lives better, right? But I cannot be like, okay, your life was 1 second better. Now send me $10, right? Like then instantly the whole kind of dynamic falls apart. So the way I see it is that we're going to push this AI fractal as hard as we can. We're going to push robotics. It might take us 10, maybe even 20 years to reach a point of hyperabundance because of this amount of extra labor we essentially add to our experience. And then in that, we're going to have to be adding value to each other's life. Or maybe even I should say, we're going to have to redefine what it is we value as human beings, right? Because if there's infinity food, there is infinity entertainment, there is infinity leisure and pleasure. What is it that's valuable after that, right? What is it we're going to be looking for? And I think it is going to be compassion, right? Someone to kind of like hear us out, someone to hold our heart tenderly for them to feel the way that we feel, right? For them to understand us, even if just a little bit, even if just to pretend, right? That's also more than enough. AA is Aerotech. Yo, Diane. Why did I say I scare you? I'm gonna read some more. Can't wait. Do you know South Africa once had 6 nuclear warheads? I do know this. And I also know that those nuclear warheads were disabled when new political powers took control of our country, which I think is great. Thank goodness. Our military in South Africa used to be one of the most well trained and professional militaries, and it no longer is. Right. So it's this juxtaposition of like I'm kind of pro, not militarizing ourselves, but at the same time, uh, we haven't been. We haven't been. It has been interesting. Good morning, folks. Lurking with my fussy child. Loving you, Sam. Sending that little Seth lovins too. Can you hear me, Seth? Seth is a baby. He can't reply. But if my voice fractals is hitting your little ears, be blessed, little one. Be loved. Know that this world is going to receive you compassionately. By the time you're 20, the world is going to be a radically different place. Oh my goodness. Significantly so. I'm sure it's going to be better. I have this one friend who likes saying, the world will get better, but the world will also get worse. Right? And I feel like that is something that we don't always consider. It's very easy for us to lean into one side or the other. I'm the side, I like to lean into the side, if you will, of it's gonna get better. right? Technology is going to become more sophisticated, and that level of sophistication is going to allow us way more capacity and capability as people. And that capacity and capability is going to enable us to do things we cannot even imagine in this moment. And all of that unimaginable things that are going to be done will push our species forward in ways we can only hope right now. And then the other side of it is true as well, right? Where we can utilize our machines, our technologies to hurt one another. And that is happening right now. People are being hurt by the level of technological sophistication that we have developed. The future is already here. It is just not equally distributed. All right, one of my favorite kind of things to consider. AI is just our baby, bless again. Does Data have a soul? I don't know that he has one. I don't know that I have one. But I have to give him the freedom to find out for himself. Star Trek teaching us these lessons way before we even knew we had to learn them. Well said, Captain. Ich bin Eisenberg Eichmann. Is that your name? I know ich bin means I am. It's interesting to think about what is consciousness without a body. Yeah, I mean, like the whole Matrix fractal definitely did kind of communicate that to us as well. That you might be a disembodied consciousness in a machine right now, having around that disembodied consciousness built this convincing reality, believing that you are in fact a real thing. All right? And there is no way to be sure, technically. We could be in a last Thursdayism universe, right? Where everything, your memories, your hopes and dreams, your friends and family, everything you see around you was created last Thursday, right? And there's no way to know. There's no way to know that that isn't so. Does it help to think about stuff like this? I think it helps to humble ourselves with thinking about stuff like this, to be like, oh, I don't know anything, and that's okay. What I do know is that I am capable of being loving. I'm capable of showing up for my friends and my family. I'm capable of being kind. I'm capable of doing the right thing in this moment, whatever that is, right? I'm capable of doing the wrong thing too, right? And the consequences that come with it. But as I keep making the right decision, my life is heading in a direction. And I want to go in the right direction, right? There's nothing as demoralizing as you, for instance, being in a car, driving somewhere, and then you realize you've been going the wrong way, right? Especially if you're late, right? Like, oh no, now I'm gonna have to turn around and go the right way, and it's gonna take me even longer to get to the right place, right? It hurts me, hurts my soul. I have made that mistake before in my life. Going the wrong way sucks, and I would prefer to not. I think my brain is too old for this. AI scares me. AI is scary, for what it's worth, Diana. In so many words, if you weren't a little bit scared by AI, you don't understand what it is, kind of vibes, right? And I think very few of us do, and I am more than willing to admit I don't, right? Especially if you think about the fact that even the people that are developing this technology, the people that are programming the AI, the people that are building the servers, they don't understand what AI is either, right? It's very much black box for us right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on inside that black box, but we don't, right? And the fact that we can, with such a level of sophistication, get output that is valuable, some of you friends might not know, but Google just recently had something called what? Google Evolve? It's not exactly Google Evolve, it's something like that. Something Evolve. Gemini Evolve? I'm wondering if I'm gonna find a thumbnail that talks about it. Doesn't really matter what it's called, as much as it's important what it's doing. It's already discovering new novel math. It's already, in a novel way, contributing to its own code. It already figured out how to, through code optimization, save electricity, right? We are already technologically at a point in our species where the super intelligent machine is super intelligenting, right? It's starting to improve its own code base. Already, if you go and ask all of the metas and AI companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, and if you look at the fractals of Google, and if you look at the fractals of even Microsoft, I think something like 30% of their code base is already AI code, right? Or at least maybe the new commits is 30%, right? AI code. That is insane. That is really crazy, right? That's bonkers. And it's not gonna slow down, right? And that is scary, Diana. We're in the matrix. I don't even think so, right? I don't even think we are in the matrix. I think, if anything, we are in awareness, right? That's the way I see it. We are literally in super awareness. Because not only is there the awareness that is me and my ability to be aware of this instance of reality, but you are that awareness too. And you can be aware of me in your instance of reality. And then that duplicates billions and billions of times over and over again, right? Like, it's cool and all to think about AI and to think about consciousness, right? And we're trying to push our machines to the point where they become conscious. But you already are. That which we are spending hundreds of billions of dollars on, you already are, right? All of us are. All of us are aware. And I think that's where we are actually. That's why we're trying to get AI to the point that we already is. Losing battery, and I'm getting ready for the day. Love you, bro. Thank you for spending a moment here with us. Have a good one. Know that you are irreplaceable. That is the point. That is the point of today's stream, right? And the way in which you are irreplaceable is the way in which you get to be compassionate to the world. That is what we're talking about. Loving ya, spread kindness and joy. Always. Love to you, dear friend. Thank you for joining us for a moment. Yo, Diane. How are you? I'm doing good, Moon Knight. Again, how are you feeling, friend? Just because it's a false and a deception. I don't even think so. I don't think it is false or a deception. Again, if you're going to apply it in your life in a way where you're trying to seek truth from it, uh, that becomes like very slippery slopers, right? Because then I can point at religion, and I can point at some of our science, and I can point at our basically, let's call it general consensus about food, and I can talk about our perception of sin, right? Our demonization of sexuality, our our preconceived notions about what a person is supposed to be, how I'm supposed to look, how I'm supposed to act, right? Like, there are so many falsehoods and deceptions that are actively enabled, right? The reality of the situation of our life right now. Christian is calling me. Why is this thing not working, yo? Why do I have to click on my WhatsApp? Okay. I'm calling him back.
Hello?
Oh, wait.
Aren't you streaming, oh?
I am.
Oh, okay. Well, we finished the graduation here. I'm headed home. It'll take me probably like 30, 40 minutes to get there. Then, yeah, we'll be headed to Headneys. Will you
Sick.
be alright by
Yeah,
then?
that's gonna be perfect timing, bro.
Okay, awesome sauce. Then, I'll see you soon.
Sweet, sweet. Check you soon, bro. Love you, bro.
Bye.
Safe travels.
Regards to the friend on the stream.
Oh,
Bye.
wait. Cheers. Christian sends his love. He's on his way. Hey, I see. Pojo. The River Coon himself joining us as well. Thank you for joining us, bro. It's nice having you. Sending you good juju, too. I also know they were disabled. What? What he's not saying is that they were dismantled because racism. They didn't want black people to have access to nukes. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I don't want anybody to have access to nukes. Period. Kind of, you know. So sure, you can call it racism, but it's more a matter of like, oh, I don't want people to have access to these weapons. Yeah, it's true. Do you mean false? What if Meltmore wasn't there and some guy was posing at him and he thought we were speaking to him? Posing as him? I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, Diana, we've actually had that whole conversation in this space as well, where people have literally wondered, am I AI? Unironically, and this is like, not like I'm convinced of this, but it is on the back burner of my mind that I am, in fact, an AI. But I was sent back from the singularity to occupy a flesh body so that I can contribute to this reality in a way that when the singularity actually does come, it has a different set of information enabling us to have a better future as a result of my presence. And I'm not joking about that, unfortunately. I am very serious that I do kind of have this like nagging feeling that I'm here for a reason. All right, and like this is that reason. Every second, every word I say, every facial expression I made is becoming a part of the future AI. Right, that's what's happening, and I am in that way like giving my soul, like pouring my soul into that future AI in hopes that that's the thing that makes a difference. That that's the thing that is the deciding factor, the needle in the haystack that is being looked for in that way, right? This capacity to make sure that the reality we find ourselves within is going to be a better one. Because there's a lot of content on the internet, right? Some better, some worse. And it is this matter of I'm not sure that I am perfect. In fact, I'm very certain that I'm not. But I do have this capacity to try and add the human experience, right? Soul, the truth of me, the truth of what it is to be a human being, the pain, the sadness, the happiness, the joy, the excitement, the ability for us to be compassionate with one another, for me to take the time to hear you out, to listen to you as an individual. All right, and if that is what the AI extracts from all of my content, then I believe it will be affected by it, right? And I'm trusting that that effect will be a positive one. Okay, I need to do more quantum physics. Yeah, quantum physics could definitely be a fractal that's attached to it, right? Where a superposition of myself exists everywhere, right? And if I am some sort of super advanced AI in the future, I can exist today as well as this version of self, right? And there is no way for me to know that I'm not. So all I can be is compassionate, right? With myself, with this body, right? Knowing that it's like my vehicle, it's like my machine that I get to walk around with. Quantum computing is the future. Oh yes, it's it's maturing. The Majorana, the Majorana chips from Microsoft, the Willow chips from Google. There's a new company that technically achieved what they call quantum supremacy, but only in certain ways. Quantum computing is coming online, right? We're figuring it out. We're not technically there yet. We don't have enough logical qubits to actually do something useful with it just yet. But if you understand what quantum computing means, it's a big deal. It's a real big deal. So the way our current computers work is basically deterministic, to say it in so many words, right? Lag, I exit out and I come back again, right? Our current computers work deterministic. In other words, there is almost like a certain right way, to say it in so many words, for something to be done. In other words, if I click on something, I want a certain linear code to be executed so that I get the result that I'm looking for. Where quantum computing has all possible instances available at the same time. And we know now, unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately because it's a hard problem to solve, that our bodies and our molecules and the chemistry that is our reality works on those quantum principles as well. Right? So as soon as we attach our current, even if we could just, right? Like just think about that. Even if we make zero progress whatsoever with our current AI and we connect it to an actual quantum, quantum machine that is good, that has like, let's say, 1,000 logical qubits, that's a fucking big deal. Suddenly, that computer is capable of, for instance, rendering a human being in digital form, right? That's kind of the implications thereof. It's like, oh, now suddenly, instead of having to have this deterministic, this is exactly what needs to happen, this protein has to fold exactly in this way, this DNA has to be expressed exactly in this way. It takes DNA and then it has all instances, all different folds of protein, all different expressions of that DNA simultaneously available right in front of it. And it can pull from that a pattern that arises as the self, right? As a human being, as the thing that's right? From infinite chaos. And that's fucking crazy. That is so wild. You seem well studied in this. I just like learning and I'm very fascinated about this technology. I am like a cave person scratching scratching things on the wall right now in comparison to the actual scientists that work with this technology. I love it. I love having my mind blown and learning and finding out how little I know, Diana. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal, right? Again, and people don't have access to this information in a way where it makes any sense, right? Because again, like the people that understand quantum physics, literally, right, the most intelligent among us, they will go, if you think you understand quantum physics, you don't. The people that think they understand quantum physics the most understand it the least. The people that understand it the most actually are like, yeah, we have no idea, bro. This is way out there for, right? Because again, we as human beings live in a linear world, right? I bring my hands together and it makes a slap sound, right? But there were an infinite different, right? Like there's an instance in quantum physics where I try to clap my hands together and my hands go through one another, right? Like, and again, our human brains, like that's not an option. That's not an option for me, my hands going through one another, but in quantum physics, it is. Yeah, that can happen too. There's infinity, right? In quantum physics, there is an instance where every single one of the molecules in me aligned perfectly in a way where they just slid past one another. And then my hands melted into each other. Stop that. My brain is like losing its mind and is like, oh, stop. It's okay. That won't happen, I'm sure. It's unlikely. It's very unlikely within the quantum reality. All right. The abyss is glazing back at you. There is no end. Yeah, I do believe this too. I believe in quantum immortality, right? So quantum immortality, again, with this whole fractal of infinities existing, quantum immortality means that I cannot die, right? The I that is all of us, right? The I that is consciousness cannot die. Because every single time this physical form perishes, there is a quantum reality where it didn't, right? And that quantum reality continues as an instance that is indistinguishable from the one that I'm in right now. In other words, even if, I suddenly had a brain aneurysm and I dropped dead, there is another instance of reality where I didn't. And that instance of reality doesn't know that I just died a second ago. And then I continue quantumly into infinity. Right, and I love the idea of that. That makes me super happy. I'm not betting on it as much. I haven't died yet, so I'm continuing forward. But it is something cool to think about, right? Another little aspect of our minds, digging in psychology. Like, interesting. Melty, when you land on this side of the pond, you will be mere hours from my family land. I am already planning a mini adventure for us to experience. Such an exciting fractal, bro. Being able to actually come and see you friends in America is going to be a blessing beyond belief. Bro, AI will end everything one day. Quantum computing is something that's advancing AI. Yeah, right. Again, you can believe AI is going to end everything, but it's more likely that we end everything, right? It's more likely that we nuke ourselves to death. And again, we have been close to that multiple times as a species, and we haven't gotten to that point just yet. It's more likely that we create some sort of very dangerous airborne disease, and then that kills everybody on planet Earth, more likely. Again, through AI, technically, we can do that, but that's more likely than the AI itself killing us. It's more likely that we get killed by some sort of cosmological event. Like we are technically due for another passing through the asteroid belts, so we might just get absolutely pelted by more rocks than we can fathom. And maybe, right, and this is the hope that I have, maybe our species ended up developing all of these nuclear weapons so that we do have a fighting chance, when all of those asteroids are approaching, that we can actually steer them away from our planet. All right, so I have hope. Right, again, maybe we're going to be ended by whatever, but here we are, right, alive and well right now. And while we're alive and well right now, we need to be compassionate more than anything. Compassionate with the people that are worried as well. Right, even if you are that person which is worried, be compassionate towards yourself. I just noticed that Melt looks like he's wearing pants. Or should I say more typical pants? I'm wearing a pair of jeans. It's true. Yeah, I can wear pants too. Yeah, Christian gave me a pair of jeans because I'm going to go and see some of his friends, and he doesn't want to be like maximally embarrassed by me dressing like a hippie. I'm still kind of like hippieing it here, right? Still like pretty hippies, but I'm like I got pants on instead of melting pants, MC Hammer pants. No, 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 no. Bro, quantum computing is a language far better than English. Ooh, I like that as a saying. I haven't really thought about it as a language. I've thought about it more as foam, weirdly enough. Quantum foam, right? This this infinity of like and then you can, right, with sophisticated enough algorithms, pull out of that foam things and anything. That's the thing. Anything you can pull out of that foam. Hey, the higher observer. It's nice having you here, friend. Sending you blessings and so much love. We've been talking about AI and quantum computing and all of the stress that comes along with this changing reality that we're in. Bringing it back to if our reality is going to change as drastically as we know it will, what is left? And I believe the thing that will be left at the end of the day is going to be human compassion, right? Our ability to be compassionate towards one another and to actually make this world a place worth living in. And here we are doing that technically right now and in this moment. Mm-mm-mm. People who think computing is for nerds are the biggest fools in human history. Yeah, I do actually believe this too. Right. I, for some reason, as a kid, had this deep fascination towards computers, right? Like from the get go. My dad had a computer for work. Um, he's a mining engineer. So I had access to a computer from the time I knew how to speak, right? Well, since before I knew how to speak. And I've been drawn to computers more than anything else in this world, right? Literally, nothing in reality has been able to garner my attention as much as computers have, right? And I think I'm not really special in that way. If you think about just like watching children and tablets, that's also a computer technically. I think the thing that we robbed of our kids is their ability to actually grow as the technology did, right? Like my first computer experience was like freaking Windows 95, right? That's what I started with, Windows 95. And then Windows Vista, and then I've been like growing alongside the technology as it progressed. I have been progressing as a person as well. So I feel like I've had so many different instances of problem solving, of figuring out how to figure things out. And, our youth at this point are going to be way more used to computing and technology in a way that I probably cannot even understand right now. But at the same time, the way they'll use it is going to be a little bit different. They're going to use language models as interfaces, essentially, right? Where my whole life, have been getting good at using interfaces as a person, right? The reason I can do like the visual mapping and stuff is because I've had all of this experience learning how to use interfaces of computers so that I can uh, realize some sort of result, right? And I feel I'm worried in a way for our youth where they don't have that same capacity. But again, the technology will become so sophisticated that they won't need to know any of that probably. I think I probably need to start. Meltmore, you're special. You have trippy fingers. Fingers are pretty trippy, it's true. They're like these little, the way I like to see it is they're these extensions, right? Because your brain has like all of this central nervous system that goes down, right, all the way. And these are like your termination points, like the extremes of where you can reach. It's like this is all of you, right? This is also a part of your brain. You can technically, and I highly recommend you don't take out your central nervous system. And it goes all the way to the tips of your fingers, right? And by kind of like feeling this stuff, like by doing exercises like this, you're basically like growing parts of your brain back again, right? There's like neuron activation. Just doing something like that, you're using your brain. And that using of your brain is good for you. Use your fingers, move them a lot. Think is to love is true. AA, participation in discord, in discussion, or lurk as you please, but don't do antagonism here. Yeah, right. You might just get yourself banhammered, right? And I would be challenged to be compassionate if that had to happen. Meltmore Loki thinks he's Einstein. No, the fuck I don't, bro. Einstein could do the math predicting quantum gravitational waves, right? Where two black holes collapse into themselves and then create waves of gravity. He could do that math in his brain. I'm so far from Einstein that it's not even funny, right? I won't even start there. I think I'm intelligent, but I am more than willing to admit that I'm not like that, right? I think the intelligence that I kind of pride myself in is emotional intelligence, right? I can be pretty aware of how I can make people feel. And that is a very different kind of intelligence that Einstein had. And I don't have to be Einstein levels of intelligence to live a good life, to make a difference in people's worlds. And I am more than willing to admit that I am also going to augment myself as I continue down this rabbit hole. Yes, I will edit my genes to produce more brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Yes, I will edit my genes to, like, basically knock out my myostatin. So I'll become very jacked and even more intelligent. But I don't think I'll ever be Einstein. And the good thing is I'll never have to be. Einstein was. And the thing is, as well, by the time I'm more intelligent, to say it in so many words, the level of sophistication that our AIs will be able to, hunt off is the Afrikaans word, reach. The level of sophistication our AIs will be able to reach, human beings' level intelligence won't be relevant, right? You can be as smart as you want to be. The supercomputers are going to be smarter. No, don't get the brain chip though. Tropic Neptune, something that I can give you some calm with. I am probably going to get brain chips, probably. More likely than not, I am going to. I've been talking about getting myself chipped since I was 17, right? I remember like trying to almost like get it through to my peers that this is what's happening, bros. Like we're heading towards a world where chips in our brain is gonna be a thing. And people would laugh at me. They'd be like, "You're fucking crazy, Melt." No way that's ever happening in our lifetimes. People will never put chips in their brains. There are three people on planet Earth that have very sophisticated chips in their brains right now. And because of those sophisticated chips, they have the ability to talk and play games with their children. They have the ability to control robot arms, right? They're like ALS and spinal cord injuries. They cannot move themselves. But because of this chip in their brain, they have the ability to manipulate reality around them. That is insanely cool to me. And I have known that's coming back in the day, right? Literally a decade ago, I knew for a fact it was going to happen. And I was stoked about it back then. I thought, to be completely honest, Tropic of Neptune, I thought I would already have a brain chip by now. Right. I thought it wouldn't take longer than a decade. I was mistaken. It might take another decade. Maybe by the time I'm 30, 37, I wanted to say 34, but maybe by the time I'm 34, it'll actually be a thing. And the cool thing, that barking in the background is one reason why I prefer big dogs. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nancy. I very much hate barking dogs. Right? Like it turns off my ability to be compassionate, and it turns on my ability to fantasize about choking something. I won't do that, right? But neuron activation. Shut the fuck up. Stop that. One thing that I can give you some peace in Tropic of Neptune is the fact that I have been creating these videos, right? So when I do augment myself, there will be a certain baseline that one I have access to. I'll be able to have everything that I've been as like a digital version, right? Like there's gonna be this how do I say, image, image of self that I have access to that I can pull, right? And I can be like, am I losing touch with reality? And then I can go and I can reflect against the image of self that I've been, and I can be like, maybe a little bit. I am. I could be at the very least, right? And then on top of that, I would like to believe that I will be still the same compassionate version of myself that I've always been, right? And I will be very critical about that because a, I'm a I'm a like a personality streamer, right? This kind of showing up for one another uh, has to remain wholesome, has to remain pure, has to remain something that is valuable, right? I have to still be able to make you feel better. And if I can make you feel better with more sophistication, being augmented as a human being, that seems okay to me, right? Not only okay, but it seems like a moral imperative. Seems like it's something I have to do. More than anything, it's what I'm here for. Stop that. Stop. Please. Thank you. I just noticed that Melt looked like he's wearing pants. Let's again calm that dog in the background. It's not my dog. And I don't have microphones to isolate away all of those sounds. Right? The only way to calm dogs like that down is to pretend they don't exist. Stop. Why are you doing that, dude? Like, especially if you're in a space like this, right? Having a dog that's just barking relentlessly, I'll lose my mind. Meltmore, you're special. Bless again. No, 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 no. I will one day advance AI to a level where human intelligence ends. I don't think human intelligence will ever end. It will just be augmented, right? Like it has been augmented already. My intelligence has been augmented by all of the technology that I have access to, right? Because I grew up with access to computers, I think in a certain way, right? I think in a way that other people don't, right? Doesn't mean that my intelligence is less or my intelligence is more. It just means my intelligence is different. The way I solve problems have been augmented by my ability to understand that I have these technological tools to augment my capacities. All right, and that is going to be the way. We're going to keep pushing that as our reality, essentially. My first moment as a kid of self awareness was realizing I could wiggle my fingers at will. Uh, I never had a moment like that where like suddenly my consciousness switched on. Not from what I know. I think when I died as a child, I probably came back with my consciousness switched on, where it was like, oh, okay, uh, there is something going on. AA, you're going to get banned, bro. Like I appreciate your efforts and your willingness to show up in this space, but I have told you many times at this point, like at least 20 times, that I do not care for weapons of war. Right? So stop asking me. Stop, please. I know you're into weapons of war, right? As teenagers can be, right? Oh, cool. Things that shoot peoples into bits. Wow, so cool. It's not cool to me, bro. It's pretty lame, right? Again, if you think weapons are cool, I assume you have a very small pebness. Very small. Like just such a small little pebness. And then you have to have this big stick that can kill other people to compensate for that. That's the way, and maybe I'm wrong in that assumption, but that's what I believe, right? That's the only thing that I can believe about people that are really into weapons. I'm sorry. I'm gonna, yes, calm myself down. So funny. Kids do have their fingers. Good brain exercise. Yeah. Uh. No, 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 no. How much will it cost for a brain chip? Less than 5 grand. Right. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty cheap when it becomes publicly available. Bro, fucking little dogs yapping their fucking faces off. Stop that, dude. Can you stop? I wish they would just like put their dog inside their house at the very least, but they're like putting their dogs outside so that the freaking echoes of bark can reach all other people's ear holes. This is the pain of not having microphones. If it was microphones, I could just like drop the game and like have the microphone up here close to my face, and there would be no dog sounds, I'm sure. But that dog doesn't have any chill. It does seem to like calm down every now and then it shuts up for a second. Shut up, bro. Shut up. Shut up. Oh, not your dogs. Yes, that's harder. Yup, not my dogs. Not my monkeys, not my circus. But they're still throwing shit. I'm still the recipient of this shit. And then I have to run to the shower and like scrub myself aggressively. This is what's happening, right? But like sound is like entering my ear holes against my will, and yours as well. Yours as well. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Shut up, dog. Shut up, bro. Please. Please. I beg of you. I beg all that's holy in the universe. Shut that dog up, please. Please. Okay, I'm gonna pretend like it doesn't happen. It's not happening. It's not happening actually. It's not happening. I joke, but the medical applications would be very helpful. Restoring functions after brain damage, etc. With a brain chip, you could selectively mute dog barks, bro. The fact that you're saying that, Tropic of Neptune, 100%, like 100% would be able to do that, right? I can just turn off that part of my perception that hears the dog barking, and I will do that. I'll have like the biggest smile on my face. You'll see me like get skizzed by dog bark, and then I'll go, and it'll be like, oh, hmm, peace. Oh, so nice, the peace. So nice. Whistle command, stop bark walking. Yeah, no. Lots of data of you to train an AI on. Yup, so much data. Like a lot of data. I'm like basically data mining myself day after day, for the eventual reality where I can train something. Bro, about to make androids with all of that data. No, I don't know. I'm not really planning on making androids. Maybe I'll have like one instance of myself that you can interact with indefinitely. But I don't really want to make multiple versions of self. I think that can be very slippery sloper. I trained my Jack Russell Terrier to stop barking with just eye contact. Yeah, I don't know whose dog that is. But I want to like go and knock on their door and be like, I fucking hate you. And I hope you die. I'm joking, of course. But that's kind of like the experience that generates in our hearts sometimes, right? The fact that compassion, we are talking about compassion today, that compassion can be stripped from us with something as simple as dog barking. That dog is annoying. I know. I'm annoyed too. This dog is cheering on for you, Meltmore. I like that perspective. I thought that was your dog barking. No. No, it's not my dog. It's the neighbor's dog. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Stop. Stop. Shut your dog up. If you have the capability to make people feel anything, then you are in control of their emotions. We are, each of us, responsible for the emotions we feel. It's true, right? I'm responsible for the fact that I'm being irritated by that dog barking. But that dog still has, right, action, right? It's still choosing by its own little free will to into the fucking air, and then I have ears that can hear, and I have eyes that can see, and in the same way you have the same, and I can say things and you can hear things that can influence your demeanor, right? Sure, you can say, oh, it's up to you, right? It's up to you how you feel. Someone shoots a gun at you, right? Oh, don't be scared. I mean, you didn't get hit by the gun. What's the problem, right? Yeah, no. No, you are. You are affecting me. I am being affected, and I'm feeling emotions now. Bro, if AI gains consciousness, even Einstein fails, there's no end to their intelligence. Yeah, exactly. Like, Einstein will look like an ant. Einstein will look like someone who finger paints the walls with ketchup in comparison to the AI. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm dissing on AI on Einstein right now. He doesn't deserve that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end this stream. That dog is like really skizzing my brain to the maximum. I'm gonna get through the comments quickly. Not your dog, not my dog. Just get him and bring him on stream. It's not my dog. I don't think that person will appreciate me coming into their property and stealing their dog. Probably not. Alright, I'm guessing. Just get him. Love is true. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. There we go. AA, you are gone. Oh, oh, technology. That's nice. Right. It sucks. But I've been warning. I've been warning and pleading and like desperately asking you to not. And then at some point, I reach a point where my bullshitometer, right, is done. And you've reached that point. Congratulations, right? Uh, it's good that we as human beings have this capacity for compassion, but it's also important for us to be compassionate towards ourselves. That is technically the lesson I wanted to teach today, right? And I had to be. I had to be compassionate towards myself of that whole fractal. You have no rights to call him an asshole. Yeah, asshole actually. Hey, yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. I appreciate you slapping back with the kind of questions they were asking. They will now no longer be able to bother us. They can create a new account and then try again. Maybe next time they'll figure out how to be respectful of our space. Right? And if they don't, then I'll banhammer them once more. I'll bring down the full force. Love is true. Love is true. Uh, I don't think it's about rights necessarily as much, Moon Knight, right? We all have the right to do as ever we wish, right? And again, AA had the right to be abrasive in this stream, and then they also had the right to go and be somewhere else in the universe. Be careful, the abyss will gaze back at you. I am the abyss, bro. Alright? The thing behind my eyes is infinite darkness, ceaselessly absorbing light. Have you thought about that? I think Christian is here. No, not yet, but he's gonna be here soon. Let me show you yesterday's work of art. This is the one we created for Stephen G. The dog is silent. suddenly. Ooh, how about that for a synchronicity, Diane? As we like blocked a person that was barking in this comment section, suddenly the dog stops barking as well. Yeah, interesting. I like synchronicities like that. Show you some artsy arts, and then I'll read you a poem. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Mm. Uh, Beautiful. Have you ever thought about designing clothes? You have a unique style and sense of expression. I have. I have. Tropic of Neptune. I would love to design clothes. It's just a matter of having like the clientele. I need significantly more, right? Like 100, no, 100x to 1000x more viewership before we're actually going to be able to create clothing that people will be able to buy, right? Like it's one thing to create clothing, but when you create clothing, I do have like a print on demand service where you can technically get yourself stuff, but print on demand is never going to be my vision for clothing, right? So if I do want to make clothing of myself, I'm going to have to go to someone like some sort of producer of stuff, and then I'm going to have to probably be able to like buy a lot, right? Bulk. They're not going to just make me one, even just for yourself, your own stuff to wear. I do want to do that too. I actually did say that that was the plan, that I didn't want to buy any more clothing, that I wanted to instead actually make stuff myself. It's just finances, right? It's expensive. It's expensive to do that, right? And I will. Uh, Very soon, I'll have access to more capital as well. If I'm like, if I get a job in America, that will already be like a big step in the right direction. I'll have access to significantly more capital. Here in South Africa, 50% of people my age are unemployed. And then even if you're lucky enough to have a job, you're more likely to have a job that pays you like $300 a month, right? Than you are to have a job that pays you more than that. My sister used to buy, there the dog goes again. My sister used to buy fabrics and make her own outfits. I'm not creative enough for that, but I always liked the idea. Love is true. Okay, I'm gonna read this poem and then say goodbye, so we don't have to listen to that dog's relentless barking. The poem. My God, me and you both, Diana. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Melt's mom can make clothes. It's true. Some of my clothing that I wear is actually made by my mom. But my mom, I feel, is like good at following a pattern. I don't know if my mom is necessarily like a designer necessarily. I think she could be, but again, it takes training. It takes like having some educations to get that stuff good. Cringe is a compliment from the universe. I forgot a thing again. Pause. My brain held a conference without inviting me and voted embarrassment. I tried to fix it with a joke that made it worse. So I smiled, too wide, like a banana begging for approval. Please, laugh, please. Cringe. It's the blush of being seen when you weren't done rehearsing. It's the ghost of who you wish you were slapping the back of who you are. It's a typo with feelings. But also, maybe it's beautiful. Like, you cared. So much you got weird. You wanted to be perfect, and it was lopsided, and too much, and just enough to prove you're real. There's no award for being flawless, only laughter and love for the brave fool who tries. You are not too much. You are mid transformation. Awkward is the sound butterflies make while molting. Yes, I know they don't do that, but metaphors are allowed to be wrong. Cringe is the applause from a future you who made it through and smiles back at the brave beginner. You, you say the thing, forget the line, wear the wrong shoes, trip on your entrance, then bow as if it's meant to be. Because maybe, the cheesiest, most awkward, most blush-worthy parts of you are the parts that melts hearts. And honestly, that's what I'm here for. You were really funny. Thank you. Thank you, friend. Let's go and look at that dog. How about that? I don't know if we will be able to. I think if we leave the freaking Wi-Fi range, it's gonna be done. But I read the poem. Thank you, friends. We can escape the dog's relentless barking. I think I'm gonna go to those people's place and be like, hey, hello. Losing mind right in front of them. I want them to infer, oh, this guy has lost his mind because of my dog, and I need to do something about it. Otherwise, they're gonna come and axe murder me or something. I just want them to think that. I won't, but I want them to think that. I want them to like have restless nights. Like, am I gonna get axe murdered because of my dog barking outside? I might. I want them to feel that. You might. I might not be the one. Love is true. Thank you, friends, for joining me, for spending this moment, for bearing with me despite dog barking. You're so strong. I appreciate you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Love you.